What's up YouTube, this is GalacticGod. Now first off, let me give a big thanks to mcole40 for allowing me to come onto his channel and talk to you guys today. I'm here today to give you a deck profile on a deck that I really enjoy playing. Now it is not a top tier deck, it's one of my more fun decks that I like to duel with. Now some of you guys may be asking yourself, well, what's the point of doing a deck profile on a non-top tier deck? What's the point of seeing a deck profile on a deck that's not competitive? Well, in Yu-Gi-Oh! There's not always a need to be very competitive. You're not always at those big YCS events. You're not always going to those big regionals. Sometimes you're just having fun at your local. Sometimes you're just at home dueling with your buddies. And in those times, I think it's really cool to kind of bust out with those crazy, weird decks that you normally would not use for those big events, but they can still be quite enjoyable to duel with. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys a profile on one of the decks that I really enjoy dueling with, and I hope you guys like it as well. Alright, here we go. This is my Crystal Beast deck. This, of course, is not a top tier deck, not a super competitive deck, but it is an extremely fun deck to duel with. So what I'm going to kind of do is go over my most current build. This is, of course, formatted for the new ban list. I'm going to kind of go over every card and choice that I have in the deck, and then kind of go over a few of the combos, I guess, that you can do with it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so first up we have, of course, our 3 copies of Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. This is our main tutor of the deck, probably our main card that we're going to want to try and go for as quickly as possible. From there we have 3 copies of Topaz Tiger. It's got a okay effect. It can go up to 2,000 attack when you attack one of your opponent's monsters. Helps you get over like cards like Thunder King and whatnot, but overall probably just kind of a beater. From there we have 3 copies of our Crystal Beast Ruby Carbuncle. This allows us to go for some huge crazy plays, especially once we have 5 back rows for our field spell card. And then we have 1 copy of the Crystal Beast Amber Mammoth. This is all the Crystal Beasts that I'm using in this build. I'm not using a build that kind of focuses on getting out Rainbow Dragon. I don't care for those versions of the deck too much. I think that although Rainbow Dragon does have a really high attack, I don't think it's a boss monster that is game ending enough to kind of go for. Plus we have other cards that have about the same amount of attack in this deck that we can get out a lot easier, and this deck focuses more on utilizing the field spell card to its full advantage, and that's why we only have our 10 card Crystal Beast engine. Alright, so from there we have some support cards like 2 copies of Summoner Monk. This allows us to go for our Pegasus extremely fast and as quickly as possible and as early as possible. We're also playing 2 copies of Card D to hopefully draw into answers if we haven't got them in our first hand. From there we have 2 copies of our Malefic Cyber End Dragon. Like I was saying, this build focuses on utilizing the field spell card to its fullest advantage. So getting out Malefic Cyber End is very important because it can serve as our almost like our Rainbow Dragon beat stick, as it has 4,000 attack and has a good nice 2,800 defense. So even if they use a card like Maestroke or something and put it down defense, it's very hard for them to still get over it. And then once it goes down defense, you can start doing some other derpy plays with attacking as well. Okay, from there we have a Teched In Scrap Beast for tuners to go with our Summoner Monk plays to kind of get out Scrap Dragon, which is definitely an awesome play. And then I have 1 copy of Dragon Queen of Tragic Ending. I used to play other builds with 2 and even 3 copies of this card in there, but I think just the way the game has kind of evolved, this card is not as useful as it once was, and for now it kind of works good as a good shield for 2,600 defense for me to stall until I can get to the combo pieces that I'm looking for, or if I see the opening I can use its effect to attack and make my opponent discard a card and draw with it, so it's kind of cool. Alright, that's going to round up the monster count for the deck. Alright, so for our spells and traps, we are playing 3 copies of the field spell card, Ancient City Rainbow Runes. This card is probably most important to us as it allows us to kind of control the board, especially once we start getting 3, 4, and 5 Crystal Beast monsters in our back row. We can really do some crazy things. So this is really important to get to us as fast as possible. So for that reason, we are playing 3 copies of our Terraforming. Not to worry though, if for some reason Terraforming becomes a dead draw, we do have the Summoner Monks to kind of discard our extra copies of Terraforming if we don't need them. From there, we're playing 3 copies of Crystal Beacon. This card is really good because it allows us to special summon any Crystal Beast monster from our deck to the field by simply having just 2 Crystal Beast monsters in our spell or trap card zone. So normally you'd want to go for Pegasus to fill more copies of Crystal Beast monsters into your back row, but if you need to, you can go bring out maybe something like a Carbuncle, and then that allows you to then special summon all the Crystal Beast monsters from your back row and go for some crazy Exceed plays or Synchro or just whatever you need to do, really. From there, we're playing 2 copies of Rare Value. This allows us to kind of draw a little bit faster. We're playing 2 copies of Crystal Blessing. This card's become a little bit more useful in later years, really because of the Exceed engine. With Exceeds now, you can detach and send your Crystal Beast monsters to the graveyard, and you can use this card to then put them back into the back row, which allows us to maintain control with our field spell card right here. From there, we're playing 2 copies of Pot of Duality because we do need to dig for those Pegasus or Terraformings or field spell cards as fast as possible, and this allows us to kind of add a little bit of consistency into our draws. We have 1 copy of Pot of Duality to kind of recycle. From there, we got some staples: Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, and then 2 copies of MST. And then we have our 1 trap card, Treacherous Trap Hole, to kind of round up things at the very end. Now, our extra deck is definitely an eclectic mix of just about everything you can have in there, which is kind of cool, I think. So for rank 4s, we're using number 16 Shockmaster, Vylon de Sigma, Photon Popple Operative, Maestroke, number 50 Black Ship of Corn, Gaga Cowboy, Steel Swarm Roach, and then Lightning Chidori, because the Pegasus are wind attributes, so you can get them out pretty easily. Not too bad. For rank 3s, we're using Wind Up Zen Maester, or Wind Up Zen Mains, not Zen Maester, and number 17 Leviathan Dragon. For Synchros, we have Black Rose Dragon, Stardust Dragon, and of course Scrap Dragon. One of the main reasons why we like Scrap Beast is because you can kind of use Scrap Dragon's effect and keep that recycling action going on. And from there, we have our 2 fusion monsters of Cyber End Dragon to go with our Malefic Cyber Ends. And that rounds up the extra deck. Okay, so one of the best plays I think the deck has is once you have your field spell card out with a Crystal Beast monster in your back row, you can go ahead and bring out your Summoner Monk, put him into defense. Use his effect by ditching any spell card to bring out your Scrap Beast. You're going to go ahead and Synchro on up for your Scrap Dragon. From that point, you can go ahead and remove a Cyber End Dragon to go ahead and bring out Malefic Cyber End Dragon. Now this creates a very interesting kind of lock. What you can do at this point is target any card on the field, presumably either your opponent's back row or possibly their monster, if the case may need to be, target it with Scrap Dragon's effect, and then target your field spell card. You're going to go ahead and just end up destroying their monster or their back row, whatever you've targeted, and then when you go to resolve the effect of destroying Ancient City, it won't be able to be destroyed because of Ancient City's effect. So it's kind of cool. You get like a free Scrap Dragon pop every turn, which is good because now you can clear the way for your Malefic Cyber End to keep smashing into your opponent's monsters and whatnot. Pretty cool. A little derpy, but definitely something that I've gotten off numerous times in this deck. Pretty cool. Okay, so really the point of the deck is to get at least 4 of your Crystal Beast monsters into your back row. Once you get 4 back there, you're in pretty good control because you're going to get an extra draw every turn, which can be extremely helpful. Drawing is always nice in Yu-Gi-Oh! What you can do at this point is you can go ahead and play a card like Crystal Beacon. This allows you to then special summon a Carbuncle from your deck. This then allows you to special summon all your Crystal Beast monsters that were in your Spell and Trap card zone to your monster card zone. Now, what's going to happen is if you have any Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus, their effects are going to kick in, and it's going to allow you to go ahead and put more Crystal Beast monsters from your deck back into your back row. You now have 5 monsters on the field. For this example, we have 3 level 4s and then 2 level 3s. So at this point, I would probably go ahead and Exceed on up. Now, depending on the scenario, I would go into Zen Mains if I felt like I needed to be more defensive, or if I felt like I can be aggressive, I might actually go into Leviathan Dragon. I would detach a material right here. From this point on, we have a couple of different options. One thing that we could do is, of course, go into a rank 4. Maybe something like Lightning Chidori, which would be really helpful in this deck. You can then go ahead and detach a material to send one of their face-up cards to the field. You're also going to send a face down with Lightning Chidori's effect when it's summoned. It's kind of cool. You clear the field. Now, you haven't normal summoned yet this turn, so if you have a card maybe like Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus, you can go ahead and summon him out and bring another Crystal Beast monster to your back row. But if you hadn't done that, you could just normal summon any other Crystal Beast monster. You can then Exceed on up again and go into like any kind of Exceed monster that you we might be needing at that point. So let's go, say for this example, we're just going to go into Black Ship of Corn. From there, we can go ahead and maybe detach again, sending another monster of theirs, to the graveyard, doing 1,000 damage. At this point, we can even do something like play a copy of Crystal Blessing, returning 2 of our Crystal Beast monsters from our graveyard back to our back row. So now we've ended our turn essentially with 3 exceeds on the field, 4 back rows, and our field spell card is still active to get that extra draw on the next turn. Like I said, a little derpy, requires a little bit of setup to get your Crystal Beast monsters in the back row. It can be really fun and kind of a cool a cool setup for your opponent to have to try and get around. Alright YouTube, and there you have it. That was my deck profile. Remember to let me know what you think of it down in the comment section below. Also, if you'd like to check out more content from me, please come take a look at my channel. I do pack, box, and even case openings over there. I have dual videos featuring both audio and video special effects, as well as other blog type videos. And once again, I just want to give a big thanks to mcole40 for allowing me to come onto his channel and give you guys this deck profile. And I guess that's about it for now. This is GalacticGod, out.